Well, down here in Marathon in the Keys, Lobster Mini season. We did some scouting yesterday. I got a good spot. There's B. Hey, B. Oh, there she is. Okay. So we're down here in Marathon, and I did a little dive. I bought some dive gear. I haven't dove in like 20 years, so this should be interesting. But I did dive a little bit yesterday and found a bunch of lobster. We'll see if anybody's on them this morning. But stay tuned. I'm gonna try to do some underwater footage for you guys, but I don't know. We'll see how it goes. I'm gonna just try not to drown. So let's stay tuned and see if we can get some lobster. Kind of not filming things in really order. We got back from the Keys, got the boat all cleaned up, and now it's time to clean up some of this dive gear. So let me show you what I got over here. So I went out and bought me a bunch of dive gear, some BC. I'll show you where I got from Amazon here. And I'm gonna go ahead and wash this, soap it all up, water, rinse it off, and pack it up. But let me show you where I got that from. I'm gonna put that straight over there onto the page to show you where I got it from Amazon. But before I go out there and dive, let me go back a little bit and say I haven't dove in like 20 something years, so here's a clip of me getting in the pool with all this dive gear before I go out and hit the water for the real deal. Well, now you see that I've got in the pool, did a little, make sure all my gear worked, make sure I knew how to operate everything, and now I'm jumping in the water. So let's see if we can get some of these lobsters and get them in the boat. All right, I'll take a look. So I found this deep cut in the water, and it actually goes down, the deepest point is 24 feet, but not all of that, just the deepest portion of it. So I've never gone lobstering before, so I never really used a tickle stick and net. So I'm kind of learning as I go. And as soon as I get down there, I see the first one, and of course it gets away from me. So I go over there and end up getting them. Now I start to measure some of these, and like that one there, I look at it and say, okay, well, I think this one's too small. And it ends up being too small. And I did scout this place out the day before, and when I scouted it out before, I mean, I must have seen 50 lobster on this spot, but most of them look to be small. But I did see some big ones, so I'm going over there trying to weed through and see what I can find that's a good size keeper. And I really did an editing on this. I was down there probably about 30 to 45 minutes, and I'm basically just editing the holes that I've found. Well, as you can see, I'm not very good at this, so I've missed quite a few. I've had to chase them down and net them after they're already out of the hole. I'm still trying to figure out the best way to get these things down here. I found a big problem was once I got them into the net, I really couldn't get them out very easily. Maybe a snare would be easier. That one actually came out pretty easy, but most of them didn't. Most of them got hung up on their front horns and things like that, and they were pretty difficult. But as you can see, I measured it, but way too small. So see you later, sucker. And once again, I find all these different holes, tons of them there. Some of these smaller ones, I could tell automatically they were small. So I kind of just let them go and say heck with it, and trying to find the one deeper in the hole. So try not to be too hard on me, because I really don't, I'm not very good at this. So I tickled some of these lobster out, that obviously weren't big enough, but once I got a good look at them, I just didn't mess with them. But so there was tons of them that I just kind of looked at and said, okay, I ain't messing with them because I don't want to disturb them. Well, this one had several underneath there, underneath this little edge. So I'm trying to get these suckers out, and I think one of them looked decent size, the other one looked kind of smaller. So end up trying to get these out to take a good look at them. And once again, once you get them in the net, they become very difficult to get out of those nets. So I don't know if there's a different type of net maybe that you could get instead of that nylon that would keep them from getting stuck in there. I don't know if getting stuck in there is a good thing or not. I don't know. But it was really a pain in the butt underneath the water to try to deal with that. So, but that against once again another small one. I did find some of these lobsters deep in the hole, and I try to tickle them out, and they just got so far back in there I couldn't get them out. So I guess that's a constant problem with some of the deeper holes, but I could see them back there, and then they just backed up in there as far as they could get, and I couldn't tickle them out. But the water clarity wasn't that great, as you can tell. It was kind of difficult to see, but you still just it was a big wall that you could go up and down on, and there was holes all up and down it. So, and almost every one of these little holes had something sticking out, either a small lobster or a couple of decent sized lobster. And just ended up trying to get these suckers out of the holes. And once again, I'm definitely no expert. I did go lobstering one time before down in the Keys, but I never really got a chance to get but one. And actually, my buddy Scotty got that one. And so we only got one lobster back in Thanksgiving last year. So this year was much more productive, but still basically a beginner at all of this. And I haven't dove in so long, so I've had a lot of stuff going on at this time for getting back into it. Now I'm getting a little more shallow right here. As you can see, the light is a little brighter right here, and trying to get up a little bit closer to the surface. And there was a couple of really good holes when I got closer to the surface. Well, as I've got this lobster, something kind of surprises me, and it's going to surprise you here in just a minute. I'm sitting here diving on this thing, looking at it. Here comes this yellow stick. Where'd the heck that come from? Oh, I didn't realize they were above me in this area of the water. That's Scotty and Amanda's daughter, Kendall, and it kind of surprised me for a second. But she was pointing out this big rock where we had about, I don't know, there's probably 15 of them underneath there, maybe 20. And so I went ahead and looked at that one, let that one go because it was too small. But as you can see, it's stirred up really bad right now. So it was real difficult to see. So she's over there messing with that area right there. So I'm going to go over there and try to help bring some of these out. Now where this is at, it's probably, I don't know, 6, 7 feet deep. So it's not very deep, but it is pretty nice to have the dive gear there to really take your time trying to get up underneath these rocks. And even with that, once again, they keep on getting out, and I'm trying to get them in. So I ended up, I think, getting 2 on this one, and bringing them up to look at them.
I got 2 on my net. Hold on.
There's about 20 of them right there.
Yeah, most of them are. I'm having problems with small. They look a lot bigger.
About 5 of them over there.
I haven't caught any that were good size. I've caught probably 20 that were all small. There's a couple of big ones that got away from me, but they're small. Like these right here, they look a lot bigger, but they're small. There's 20 right there.
You're gonna trick over a hole.
I head back underneath there. Now it's really getting stirred up, so I have to get really close to get a good look. And there's still plenty of them under here, but once again, we didn't find many that were really good size. Most of them were right under, and so we end up pulling quite a few out of here, but I don't think we got any, maybe 1 or 2 that were legal out of here. So out of that hole with 15 or 20 of them in there. So I'm going through just taking a look at each one of them and taking my time with it, but once again, it's pretty stirred up. So you'll hear some clicking every once in a while. That's some kind of odd mechanical clicking noise. And sometimes if Scotty and Amanda's boat is above it, I think it's the depth finder making that noise. But there's a weird clicking noise that goes underneath if you get underneath that boat. Well, I try to hand off this lobster, be more proficient with trying to give it to her so I can get another one. And it's really the handoff really wasn't working well. Almost got away. She grabbed it, I grabbed it, and got it back in there. And made it so she could just go ahead and just put them in those nets, let her check them while I did it. But it wasn't working out so well as far as the handoffs, so we got to work on that. Some of these were pretty close, so even like if they got out of the net and they took off, some of them I didn't go after if it didn't look like it was going to be legal anyway. But those are some, they're pretty fast. I don't know. I wasn't very surprised about how quick they are and how difficult they're to handle sometimes. I can see without dive gear it'd be kind of difficult if they jump down there and went into that deeper ledge trying to chase them down. But with the dive gear, you could really chase them down if you really saw one that was decent. Once again, most of them were not decent, so just end up letting them go. So we ended up not getting as many big ones out of here as I thought we would. Most of them were all smalls, but it was pretty cool, and I got some good experience from doing it. So we ended up probably measuring, I don't know, 30 lobster maybe, and I didn't video all of it, but these are just kind of the clips of what we did. The next day, we ended up going out a little bit further in some deeper areas. I didn't film any of that. I figured I had enough footage of underwater video now, but we ended up, getting about 5 or 6 the next day that were good size. As you can see, the deeper you get, and some of that area was kind of pretty bad in clarity, but I wanted to give you an example of what it sounded like underneath their boat with that depth finder, that clicking noise. I couldn't figure out what it was until I got up and kind of looked up and said, oh, that's what it is. It's the boat right above us that's making that clicking noise, and I guess that's what the depth finder does underwater, which was pretty curious to me. I didn't realize it did that. I wanted to show you all this last one that I went after here. I cut through a ton of footage on this. Well, like I said, I was down there for probably 45 minutes, 45 minutes probably. Once again, the deepest I went was 24. But here's this one here that I ended up grabbing. He ends up getting out of the net. I end up chasing him down, and ends up being a legal lobster. And didn't get too many of those from this area, so I was pretty excited about getting that one. So I grabbed that one up and figured I'd go ahead and take him to the surface, and we'll try a different area. So like I said, I didn't video any of the other areas, so we ended up, I think bringing home 5 or 6 lobster for us, and some of the other crew brought a good amount of lobster home, but not as many as I thought. A lot of smalls, and when I brought this one up to the surface, I didn't want to lose them. Well, we did a lot of other things on this trip, but I wanted to make this basically a lobster diving video. So I want to thank everybody for watching, and make sure you like and subscribe.